to a new world of gods and monsters.
He's alive!
Here's Johnny.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, I'm telling you, brother, it's a frightful sight. See what goes on Halloween night.
Hello, and we're back for another edition of Why We Love Horror. John, Melissa, how are you both doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing good.
Doing great. How are you?
And today, we are talking Wes Craven's Shocker.
Prisoner, have any final words?
Yeah. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
I don't think he's dead. Contact. He's among you!
Now, Wes Craven brings you his greatest creation.
No more!
Shocker.
John, do you want to throw us out with the plot of this movie?
Sure. I can talk. I can give you the plot to 99% of the horror movies out there. Not a problem. Shocker is a movie where a young man who looks a lot like Peter Berg is a star football guy at his college. But also in that town, there's a deranged serial killer named Horace Pinker. He's a TV repairman by day, brutal serial killer by night, right? So the town is boggled with what's going on. But, you know, what's Peter Berg's character? Jonathan gets a concussion, and all of a sudden he becomes clairvoyant, and he knows what's happening. So eventually the police catch Horace, and they set him in the electric chair. But that's only the beginning, because he transcends death and comes back again and kills more people, and that's Shocker. And he also has he also has great powers, which we'll get into in this episode.
Yeah, I would describe this movie as the Cable Guy with Fallen, with Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, specifically the Power Glove, and a sprinkle of Chucky, and you get Shocker.
And the John Ritter masterpiece, Stay Tuned.
Have not seen it, but I'll take your word for it.
I guess initial thoughts.
I mean, you can't deny that Mitch Pileggi is having the time of his life playing Horace Pinker. Like he is just hamming it up like in every scene and just having so much fun. So it's like hard to like deny that piece of it. Yeah, I don't know. This movie, it gets kind of worse and worse as it goes, but I had so much fun watching it. Like I really did. And like the soundtrack rules. Like it was a lot of fun, but it's pretty corny.
Let's get everything out of the way. Okay, it's a Wes Craven movie. It's not horrible. This is not like a movie. This you will not enjoy watching this movie. It is entertaining. Like bell to bell, it's entertaining. Melissa's 100% right. This is the role of a lifetime for Mitch Pileggi. He's killing it. We were robbed of like 5 sequels. There should be like 6 Shocker movies.
Oh yeah,
there should be. It's Shocker 2. You know, Shock Harder. It should have gone on and on. But they didn't do that. Like I would have loved. Like honestly, if there were like 5 Shocker movies, like I think I would probably love Shocker more than I do. For me, like revisiting. This is a movie I owned on VHS when I was a young man. When I was younger than Mike Hanley, I owned this movie, and it was a movie I played a ton. And as a little, not a little kid, as an adolescent, this movie is like just slap your knee, punch your friend in the face, hysterical. Like you'll watch. I've probably seen this movie like 50 times. As an adult, it loses a lot of its luster. Still entertaining, but loses a lot of what makes 13-year-olds laugh. As an adult, I'll say that. Mike.
Oh, I absolutely fucking love this. I started watching it as a small lad, and I just kept going from there. Like fucking Mitch Pileggi, goddamn, this is a movie where he knows what it is, and he just does not give a fuck. He's gonna go full on into it, and he fucking loves it. It's so fucking amazing. Him versus Peter Berg, who, as we know, goes on to be a pretty substantial director and pops in a lot of great movies. he looks like he is trying to take this movie pretty seriously, and then he's going against Mitch Pileggi, who, like Melissa said, is hamming the fucking shit up, and it's just a great dynamic between the two, because having that dynamic of one dude trying to take it kind of seriously and then another dude who's just overlapping him is fucking hilarious and awesome. And I also love the majority of the people that Pinker ends up possessing when he becomes it makes it so much fucking entertaining with that shit.
Yeah.
This seems like a side project for Wes Craven. Like, clearly, like, we know what Wes Craven's made his money do. We know Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. But this just seems like a side project where he was like, oh, you know what? I always wanted to write something stupid and produce it, because like the amount of people that just show up in this movie, it's crazy. Like Ted Raimi's in this. Yeah. Heather Langenkamp shows up as a dead body. There's lots of like weird cameos in this movie. I think Timothy Leary, the LSD professor of world renown, plays a evangelical preacher on television. Like Wes Craven was just like, you know what? We're having a party. Everyone's invited. I don't care if this movie is good. This is everything I wanted to do, and the studio just let him do it. So God bless the producers. They let Wes Craven have some fun. Clearly, he had fun making this movie, which is probably the most important part.
Yeah, I have a lot to say when we get to Behind the Horror on this one. But also, Wes Craven apparently was in it, and also his daughter and son. They made cameos as well. So yeah, cameos all around in this movie. And
Entertainment Tonight's John Tesh is the news anchor throughout the entire John Tesh of piano playing fame. He shows up throughout the entire movie as well. Like Shocker holds like a weird place, like in the pantheon of like late 80s mass-produced horror movies. It hits every color by numbers aspect of it real quick. And then Wes Craven was probably just like, but more. Like it's like an improv troupe was given free reign to just never shut up. Is basically the Shocker.
Yeah, I guess what other positives do you have to say about the movie? And then I would also further say, like with Horace Pinker, like what makes him a memorable villain, would you say?
I wish we had more Horace Pinker. Horace Pinker is like your classic, like he's not like a calculated psychopath. He is just like, he is a chaotic, like straight line psychopathic slasher. Like there's characters like that. Like you get like he's definitely Freddy Krueger-esque, I guess, like late stage Krueger. Like he's like your wisecracking, just cold-blooded psychopath, which obviously, we have the prototype from the same director.
I think once he dies and comes back, he's definitely more calculated than when he was actually alive, because he starts using the powers he gains to his advantage to kind of either put it on Jonathan or just out of nowhere make it seem like it's a copycat going around. And he does, like, especially during the TV moments, like when we hear about the TV kills and we don't necessarily see them, that's where he starts using his powers 100% to his advantage, and he's able to get away with it. But yeah, the other positives are definitely when the other characters are possessed by him, be it even the very, very side characters. Like the little girl is my favorite.
Oh
same, my God. She has one of my favorite fucking lines ever with "move fucker." Fucking love it. Yeah, she spit like her whole change in her face the moment she becomes pink. Fucking A, man. I love it. It's so fucking great.
We kind of get two movies. We kind of get like a crime serial drama where they're like a Criminal Minds. We get a Criminal Minds episode for half the movie. Then there's the execution. Then we get a supernatural like serial killer movie. Which it's. I don't think to that point really had been done. Usually, like a movie, like you think movies that come before it, usually like you'll have like your brutal serial killer established, like in the opening scene of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's established in the prologue, and then he dies. Usually, you establish him as a psychopath that dies, and the whole rest of the movie is your supernatural killing spree. Shocker gives you both, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I will say some of the logic of this movie is all over the place for sure. But going back to the little girl, yeah, that was probably like my favorite scene. Like it was so ridiculous. And I guess just talk a little bit about the behind the scenes with it. Apparently, like, so Horace Pinker, he has a limp. And apparently, like, this was one of the first scenes of like the limp being shown. So he had to actually like copy the little girl's limp to how like she did it, or like everyone else like had to copy the style of how she did
the limp. His foot just drags behind him. Like he has one good leg, but he runs pretty fast for a dude with one leg.
Well, and you could argue though, like if you're being possessed into a new body, like wouldn't you just like have the new body and not the limp?
I didn't even think of it. That's actually true.
Like I just like how that like stays with him. Like that's just a part of his soul. Like
that's how you know it's him. Like when he jumps into his Jonathan's foster father, you're like, is it him? And then he drags his foot like it's Horace Pinker. There he is. Like, at least they get, I think that's kind of just like a sly like wink. This movie is not like twisting and turning. It's not like Gone Girl. Like it's letting you in on the secret. It's a Scooby-Doo episode. It's
you
like
just
okay,
basically
there's the bad
waiting
guy.
for each character to become possessed.
Right.
Like every character he comes along with, you're just going, okay, when is it gonna happen? When is fucking Pinker gonna become this dude and just fuck with Jonathan even more?
He already is. Melissa's point though, there is like the mythology of this movie is all over the place. Like So, like, he's at football practice. He gets a concussion. Now he's clairvoyant. Cool. Whatever. Sure. It happened to me before. Then, Pinker realizes who's after him. He just stalks and kills the guy's girlfriend. But now the girlfriend is like freaking Zelda Rubinstein's character after she died in Poltergeist 2. Like, when she's like coming back from beyond the grave, she somehow gives him her necklace. And the necklace of all things is like a crucifix to Horace Pinker. Never explained why. and also Jonathan might be Horace Pinker's kid. Like it's all just crammed in there. And this movie is not like 3 hours long. It's like an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, right? Maybe it's just under 2 hours.
Hour 40 minutes. Yeah.
They cram so much into this movie. Like they have like 80 plot lines going on at once, and it's not like they abandon, and they don't abandon any of them.
No, they just keep going with it. They give you new ones and they go, fuck it, now it's this. Enjoy. Enjoy what's happening.
I couldn't even take notes. On Shocker. I didn't want to take it that seriously.
Yeah, no, it was a bit rough to try to take notes because there's a lot going on, and like really you'll like miss something like about like I didn't realize that he was like his son. Like I don't really remember when that happened. That was more like
he says it to him. Yeah, and then the dad, Michael Murphy is like, don't listen to him. He's just he could have just made that up. He knows you're a foster kid. Like, so you don't know. So like they say it and the story makes sense, but then they're like, that's bullshit. Like at the same exact time. So bravo, Wes Craven, who wrote this, he did that too.
Yeah. I will say this movie takes a lot of like interesting tonal shifts. Cause like, I would say like the first like 20, 30 minutes is like, it seems like it's going to be like kind of a fairly serious.
Oh yeah. It's
like,
straight up serious horror.
Like I was like, okay, I was like really into it. Like the first, and then I was like, oh, okay, we're taking a turn. And the turn is definitely more in the comedy kind of camp, over the top type of way. But again, it was a lot of fun with like the kills, and also Horace has like a lot of good little like one-liners and like stupid little things like finger looking good.
Oh, yeah.
So
we
stupid.
should briefly go over Horace's death and the powers he gains post-death.
Yes. Okay, so
Mike, run through his powers.
Yes, please.
Okay, so before this man's death, one of the greatest parts of it is when Jonathan goes on a chase with him and he fucking drop kicks him up against the wall. He just comes out of the fucking frame with the drop kick. So great, but they end up catching him. He ends up in the jail cell where they see him with a fucking Bible and a couple other things, and he is attached himself to a fucking television set. It's electrocuting himself while bringing in the power that the fucking prison guards come in, try to get him off of that. They do, and that's when he ends up biting one of their lips off, which that's where the movie, like, at that moment, you know what fucking movie you're in for the rest of this time, because just the ridiculousness comes from that. They end up getting him off. He's still alive. They bring him in to get electrocuted. And he does get electrocuted, but then he ends up transferring his soul into another person at the in the prison, and it just goes from fucking there. After that, it ends up becoming Fallen, where everybody he touches, for the most part, with the exception of Ted Raimi, he's the only one that really he can't get into. Everyone else he's able to get into and stalk the shit out of Jonathan. And as that comes about, he finally gets into, like, later on in the movie, his other big power is he goes against a satellite and he goes into the fucking television, which that's where this movie becomes fucking bananas, because then they are both able to jump into the TV and go into different TV shows where at first you look at it and go, okay, the people watching it are the only ones that can actually see what's going on. But no, everyone in the TV shows starts noticing that these two are fucking fighting each other, like during the war scene, and they go, "Who's that guy?"
The only people that didn't notice were Beaver Cleaver and his family when they're chasing the Beaver. It's like, "Hey, Beaver," and he's not going to.
But yeah, they go to they during the preacher scene, they totally notice him, and then he brings them back into the fucking interview room where his foster family were killed. And that's where we get to see that, okay, yeah, they are playing with every portion of him being able to go through TV sets and how that affects his real life. It's fucking bananas, his powers. His fucking powers are out of nowhere, and they're fucking
I'll tell you what power he doesn't have, though. And it's really weird, because I think it was kind of like a slide like F.U. to the Friday the 13th series. Because Vincent Guastaferro's in this, and he played Deputy Rick Colon and Jason Libbs, who famously has the laser sight gun. But that guy can't shoot for shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
He can't hit anything. The amount of missed shots in that scene is bananas.
Pinker sucks ass at shooting a gun. That man only gets one hit. He was only able to clip him once.
He grazed him once. And all the rest of the shots from like 5 feet away, he's shooting and missing.
It's so fucking good. He at least shoots at him 20 plus times.
You see him reloading. He reloads the gun like twice.
He just can't fucking hit him throughout this entire movie, up until he's going up to the fucking satellite dish. Easily, he could hit him from there, because he has his back to him. He still can't hit him. He hits everything but him.
That's why Horace Pinker uses knives and stuff. He's a knife killer.
Yeah, and I mean he's like psychotic too with it. It's not like he just does like a little stab and goes. Like, it's like nutso. I think it's when he kills the girlfriend. Is that the scene with like all the blood all over?
Yeah, it says like "Happy Birthday, Jonathan." Horace Pinker.
But then later on in the movie, when she's leaving him a message, it's blood, but it's in very nice handwriting.
Yeah,
like, like, "I believe in you," or whatever the hell it says.
But just like the blood on the walls was insane, and like it also just like doesn't make sense. Like, just some of the handprints, if you like really look at it, it's like
he took his time.
It's just like, how did this happen? And also like Jonathan just like is so easily able to like get past those police officers and like in his investigating like the crime scene. He's touching.
He's also, like, in the crime scene already.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, "Don't look at that." Like, too late. Like, he's already in the room. Don't look at that.
Yeah. And then you hear when they're dragging him out, you hear his foster dad goes, "Who let him in here?"
Sorry, that was all of our faults. All 12 of us let him in.
I guess going back to something that Mike said about him like biting that guy's lip, or like that is probably my favorite practical effect in the movie. I guess what was some of your guys' favorite effects? Because that one like made me cringe. I was like, "Ooh!" Even
that's
though
really
it
good,
looks
like,
so fake.
That's probably the best prosthetic thing they do in the movie. There's some good natural effects. Obviously, like a lot of the just pyrotechnics and stuff, just given the nature of the movie, are really, really good. But Wes Craven had established himself by then, so I'm sure he didn't have a bunch of slouches working behind the scenes. All the explosions, and then there's another really good explosion I'll get back to in a second. But Mike, go ahead.
I will say the fucking chair. When Pinker turns into the fucking chair and just fucking hugs him, that is so fucking good. It is so fucking good.
I mean, eyeballs.
Yes. Okay.
Cherry from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
At first, I thought you meant this chair, but I got you. No, like the chair, which
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Vibrating chair.
Especially when he turns into actual Pinker, and then you just see that it's just like the bottom of the chair that still exists, and it's just fucking Pinker. What the fuck happened? Like at that point, he just is able to turn into inanimate objects, and the inanimate objects just disappear.
I gotta say, for 1989, when they're doing that kind of double exposure effect, when like Horace is like a VHS tape,
Yeah,
like, walking through, really good for 89.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like really good. Like it doesn't look like shit. I mean, there's movies that came out like 12 years, 15 years after that with horrible like effects like that. Shocker was probably. You got to imagine that Wes Craven recruited the top of the line video talent to pull that off. So that was done very well.
I will say the other effect that it's not really the effect, it's just a death scene of how the guy looks. It's the cop outside the TV repair shop when Horace escapes, and he's just got an open face.
He's got the radio cord tied
around his neck.
He's like roadkill on the hood of the car. Yeah.
You just imagine what the fuck Pinker did to that guy.
He's killed 4 of my men already.
Yeah, I like the scene too, like right after he's like electrocuted and he kind of like he's on the ground and like disappears, but like goes on fire. Like
yeah,
again, another good effect.
Oh, that is so good.
I guess, how do we feel about some of the other characters in the movie? Because I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of steals the show. I think, like he kind of is the movie. But how do we feel about some of the other characters?
Let's talk about how a junior college football team can debilitate an entire Los Angeles power station. Please,
this is Rhino. This is supposed to be in Ohio, I thought.
No, I think it's Los Angeles.
It's filmed in Los Angeles, but it's supposed to be Ohio. Trust me, because. For my behind
it has
the scenes,
that small town feel to it.
They took some of the things that will come up for behind the scenes is they literally took the extra effort to like replace all the license plates to be Ohio, but then like you could see like palm trees and like it's so obviously LA.
Oh, you mean like a Nightmare on Elm Street when it's when the tropical Ohio? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I feel like I interrupted. Mike.
Rhino is the greatest, like, fucking best friend character ever. That dude will fucking go to the death for Jonathan, no matter what. Like, that man fucking gets him out of being fucking put in jail by just smashing the window out, grabbing him, and then just letting him leave.
He knocks out power in the entire town.
Yeah, knocks out power in the entire town. He tackles the shit out of the fucking chief of police, which is fucking great. Fucking spears the shit out of him. And then he doesn't get arrested for it, which is fucking amazing. Because he just comes back the next scene going, and he doesn't believe him. Of course, he doesn't believe him throughout like the first half of it, but he still helps him out no matter what. He goes, I will sit in this car with you if that's what you want me to do. If that's what you want me to do, I'll do it. Like, fuck it. And throughout the movie, he doesn't become possessed at all throughout this movie, but he is there for him. And then also the coach. The coach is the other guy that is actually like, he goes to bat for Jonathan throughout the whole thing until he fucking Pinker actually gets him, which is also a great scene because
I'm willing to break into your house to get a child swimming mask.
Yeah.
I love how he calls it a diving mask. It's like a Dollar Tree thing I give my daughter. It's like one of these masks. I'm gonna go to the bottom of the lake and find a necklace that's this big with that mask. Oh, how silly!
Very, very silly. I will say, I kind of found Allison, or like the dead girlfriend, like probably like one of the worst characters. Like I just didn't like take that whole thing out of the movie, and I think it would be better because like I don't understand like why does she come back to life, and like like why is the necklace the thing that's like
I need the director's cut where they explain all that, I guess.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about her character and her like coming back?
She's definitely the weakest part of the movie for sure. Like the whole she's trying her best. Like the actress is actually doing what she can with it, but they don't really give her a lot to do. And like she comes back with a few scenes of her being able to use the power of good to like knock the shit out of Pinker, which that scene where they're in Jonathan's house and she's just using the fucking power to just knock the fucking shit out of him through like doorways and shit. It's fucking great.
Because like inconsistency around her and how people react to her. Like, like when he's in the lake and she's following him and he's afraid and he's running away from her. Like, why? I mean, why would you run away? You know, that's just weird.
Was there any other scenes that stand out that we haven't brought up?
This movie's all scenes. It's scene after scene.
Yeah.
After
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, like the ending too. Like I do believe they kind of left it up. Well, first of all, we didn't even talk about how the fact that like what defeats Horace Pinker, a simple, shitty 1970s style, huge brick size remote control.
Yeah.
Where like he's just mashing buttons and like he's like, and he becomes like a 1930s like silent movie villain at that point in time. And then like they cut the power and he turns the TV's on fire. And how do you stop a TV from being on fire? You turn the TV off.
That actually is one of my favorite moments of the movie is when Pinker tries to jump back into the TV, but she gets shut off and his fucking head just goes right through the fucking television.
Which came back, like, you know, they paid homage to that in Scream, I guess.
Yeah,
that's just homage to Shocker.
Yeah, I will say this was the first time of me watching this movie, and like to be honest, some of the stuff you're talking about, I don't remember. Like, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, no, there's a shitload going on in this fucking movie.
I guess moving into maybe some negatives. What are some criticisms or some things that you would maybe want to change?
The big thing to me is that we don't get enough Pinker. Like we don't get enough of fucking Mitch Pileggi as Pinker. Like, yeah, he is throughout the whole movie. He goes to other characters, but I want more Mitch Pileggi. That dude isn't fucking insane. The way he fucking portrays Pinker is so fucking good. I wanted more of it. I wanted more of him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to have mind a little bit more of a backstory. Again, like we've kind of talked about the whole time, that there's a lot of like the mythology that doesn't really make any sense. So I kind of agree. Like, I almost wish that we just like fully like focused on him, and like, I don't know, I don't really need the whole Jonathan and Allison story. Like, I just kind of wanted him to go balls to the walls, like possessing and killing people, like just the whole time. But
the whole movie becomes basically, how the fuck can we make Jonathan's life even fucking worse than it already is? Like, what more can we do to this man to fucking annihilate him throughout? And they just keep doing it. Like, it goes from his foster family getting destroyed to his girlfriend being brutally fucking murdered to them being stalked by every living fucking person in this movie. Getting his ass handed to him throughout.
Yeah, and I will say, like, considering all that, he's handling it very well.
Yeah.
Because he has a concussion. It's because he has a concussion.
Okay, because I'm like, that's kind of a problem I have a little bit, but at the same time, this movie I give a lot of forgiveness to, just because it's a fun time. Don't think about it too much because your head might explode.
I can't really get into my negatives here. I will get into my negatives shortly there.
Yes. Was there anything else before I guess we transition to that?
One last thing, Pastore. Like, at the beginning, when we first see Pastore as Pinker outside of his door, and it's when he gets a phone call from his foster dad going, yeah, he's out of the hospital. We don't know where he is. And then he just turns and he has like his neck fucking broken. And that, like, it's just the way that man just fucking chases him. They do like the Point Break chase where it's like part first person view and part just insane fucking camera shots of him chasing him throughout the fucking city up until they get to the park or the lake. Park/lake is fucking great. That dude, and that's also what we brought up, that that's the beginning where he just can't fucking shoot worth of shit. Like, even he can't shoot or anything. And then when he becomes the foster dad, fucking great. Everything he does in this movie is fucking great. He's one of the best parts of this movie because he's also the other guy that does not believe Jonathan whatsoever, and he just thinks his foster kid is becoming insane. And he's just trying to handle it the best way possible up until he grabs a lamp and gets shocked and goes, "What's wrong with electricity in this place?"
I guess another scene that I just thought about that I almost forgot is I don't honestly remember the lady, but it's when that lady's like in the car, and then he gets possessed, and then he possesses her.
Yeah.
And then she just goes nutso, and then like turns his head. Like I didn't.
Oh yeah,
really
that
like
snap is fucking great.
But other than that, I got nothing else.
Right.
Melissa, you want to throw up the?
Yes. So John, how can you fix this?
I can fix it.
Let's take those spoilers down. I think we've spoiled this movie enough.
Yes.
How can I fix this movie? I don't know. Throughout my life, and I'm much older than these two, a lot of people have told me less is more. It's weird that Timothy Leary was in this movie because I do think that Wes Craven and probably like 20 of his best friends must have been on acid when they wrote this script because he didn't say no to anything. Like any joke, any scene, any effect, any kill, it's all in this movie. And it's like, it's not a, like I said, it's not a long movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes long, including credits. To do everything I think they wanted to do, this needed to be like a television miniseries. They should have just stuck with one tone, one story. Yeah, you're right. Cut out the girlfriend and the supernat. If you can't explain it to me like I'm stupid in 30 seconds, it doesn't belong in this movie. I'm totally for deranged serial killer, cheats death, gets the powers that Jamie Foxx has in The Amazing Spider-Man, and then comes back and kills other people. Yeah, I'm totally down. Give me that. Remake this movie. Somebody from A24 remake this movie. I'm down for it. I'll watch the Shocker remake where they cut out literally 75% of the plot points. You just make this like a straight arrow, like a deranged serial killer who worships Satan to give him the powers of Electro, and then he comes back and kills some more. Do it. It's gonna sound stupid, but I think you can pull it off, and it'll probably look great in 2024. Do it.
I'm into it.
Yeah,
I agree. All right. I guess let's get into Behind the Horror here. So apparently this like script and movie, the intent of it was to retire Freddy Krueger. Like they wanted to make this the new like horror franchise, and Wes Craven really thought this was gonna be it. And obviously, as we know, there is no Shocker 2 or there's not 5 Shocker movies.
Shock Harder. Missed opportunity.
So I just find that really interesting that like he really thought that this movie was gonna do it. And then apparently it took 13 submissions for this to get approved as an R rating. Because it kept coming back as an X rating.
See that movie.
Yeah,
it was 4 hours long.
Like apparently that scene where he like is pulling on the guy's lip. Apparently there was like more to it with like him biting off more fingers and like spitting them out. Which I know he kind of does, but I guess it's like even more graphic in this version. But yeah, I would love to see this X cut of this movie. And then apparently you were singing high praises of the editor, but the poor guy, so the editor on this film that was like working on the special effects, I guess had a nervous breakdown like towards the end of like the filming, and they kind of had to like call in favors to like make the special effects even work. Like it got kind of weird. So like they kind of were like flying on the seat of their pants a little bit with the special effects. So it's kind of interesting, like the way that it all turned out. Because it like you guys
said, like
it's
shocking.
Yeah,
how is this made? It's a miracle.
And I hope that guy's okay. But yeah, apparently like Wes Craven like checked it in on him and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Dude, I'm out. Like I'm way too overwhelmed." And so it's like, "Holy shit, okay." And then apparently on the audio commentary of this movie, Wes Craven goes silent for like 10 minutes. And then he's like, "You know, I haven't seen this movie in a while, and it's a lot like Nightmare on Elm Street."
You don't say.
So those are a few things that I found out.
That's incredible.
All right, Mike, what do we think? Is this Good fucking movie.
So, as we go through our ratings, we do VHS tapes instead of stars, and we go 0 through 5 VHS tapes. So, yeah, is this a great fucking movie? This is a quintessential Mike Gray fucking movie. This movie's fucking bananas in the best way possible. It's fucking insane. Mitch Pileggi is hamming the fucking shit up. The soundtrack, as Melissa mentioned, shocker. Paul Stanley's voice, shocker, fucking amazing. Get me that. I've been trying to find that fucking song on Apple Music or Spot. Nowhere. Can't like.
The band is called The Dudes of Rat.
Yeah,
the
I've looked
Dudes
up
of
the Dudes of Rat. They just don't have that fucking song.
Come on, guys. Put that single for Mike.
But yeah, everything about this movie, fucking love. It's insane. Like the little girl, up until the fucking TV, them going into the television set and beating the shit, ever-loving shit out of each other, is fucking great. I love it. It's a great fucking movie. 5 VHS tapes from me, 100%.
I guess I'll go next. This movie was a lot of fun. Like as a first time watch, I feel like I totally understand people who maybe are like nostalgic for this one because I could totally see this being like one that you got at the video store and watched a lot as a kid, and I like kind of wish I had that in my childhood, but nope. I just watched it for the first time earlier this week. Yeah, he's having so much fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. Is it a great movie, like script wise and other? No, it's kind of a mess. But I'll give it 2.5.
Fucking A.
John.
Well, listen. There are movies out there that are off the walls bananas, that are like, you know, irreverent, like gory, crazy movies. We've learned our lessons in Shocker. Shocker is disorganized. Shocker is, it's not hard to watch. It's fun, but it's only fun. Like I can watch my kids beat the shit out of each other for free. I would not give it 5 stars. I won't do it. It's fun. It's not fun for anybody but me. It's fun. Like Wes Craven had fun, Mitch Pileggi had fun. I get even Peter Berg doesn't look like he's having fun, but I think he probably had fun.
Yeah.
This is not I'm right on the edge of saying this is a bad movie. And it's not like a so bad it's good movie. It's clearly like just a lot. It's like somebody's like, there. So it's like, you know, enjoy this. And like you have to do your best to like figure out why you enjoy it. And I really don't envy people like Mike who have to explain why it's a 5-star movie. This is a 2 videotapes movie, but it's okay. Like, I would never say I hate this movie, but it's a 2 just because it's like, have some respect. You're a fucking filmmaker. Jesus Christ. You made Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, you made Scream. Like, Shocker is weird. And in the whole like pantheon of Wes Craven movies, it's just weird.
All right, so as we're wrapping up here, we like to recommend some movies. So this time we are doing basically killers or horror people who die and come back in some fashion and get the revenge. So let's start with Melissa. Melissa, what would you like to recommend to us?
I mean, the man said it himself. This movie very much is like Nightmare on Elm Street. So if you haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street, you should go watch it. It's a classic, and it's much better than this movie. But this movie's like, it's still fun, and it's like, I think John explained it really well in his Letterboxd review.
If you want an irreverent movie that has one plot line that they stick to and commit to almost to a fault, but like no matter how ridiculous it gets, but only one plot line about a deranged serial killer who is dispatched in a scientific fashion within the first 5 minutes of the movie, let me introduce you to 90s classic Jack Frost. Jack Frost is everything Shocker is trying to be. It's funny. The guy's a fucking snowman, and they don't try to like make him any more than a stupid snowman, and they stick to the joke and they commit to it the entire time, and they don't add a bunch of 15,000 storylines to it. He's just a killer snowman the entire time. Watch Jack Frost.
Hell yes.
Yes, agreed.
And I will end it with a similar guy who has taken an actual franchise and is still working today with it, that hams the shit out of it in the best way possible and has the greatest time. Brad Dourif as Chucky, Child's Play, fucking amazing. It's insane. It's another insane concept of a movie, but works, and they've made it work for decades at this point with the TV show now. And yeah, so if you haven't seen Child's Play or any of the sequels or TV show, especially TV show coming back for season 3 this year, go watch it. It's fucking great. And as we completely wrap this up, next week we will be talking the newest Conjuring Universe movie, The Nun 2. So if you haven't seen The Nun or you haven't seen any of the Conjuring movies, better go watch it now, because we're going to be talking the shit out of The Nun 2. And it'll be definitely an interesting conversation, because the reviews on this movie, I am very curious how this movie will turn out.
Me too.
I mean, no spoilers. I haven't seen it yet, but like, they should be able to top The Nun. That's not going to be hard, right?
Yeah.
All right, just making sure.
I don't know.
So that is it for this week. Go watch Why We Love Horror Trivia, which is going to be going on tonight after this goes off. Go watch Film Coven, Melissa's new show, because that is awesome. They got their own new channel now. And yeah, other than that.
Wait, I'm trying to win the Face of Horror contest. So go to this website.
Yes.
Yeah, go to that website, faceofhorror.org/2023/John-Mar. That's how you spell my name. And vote for me, because like I should be the Face of Horror, because I know more than any of these people. Like, look at the other people. Like, they're barely human. I should win as a human being. I should be the winner. Exactly.
Yeah, you get the prize is you get to meet Kane Hodder. So yes,
Kane Hodder who gets to meet me, which is basically the biggest prize.
Better way to look at it there. I like that.
Hell yeah. Vote for John.
Yes, vote for John. We will see you next time on Why We Love Horror. Bye-bye.
Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
Hurry back. Be sure to